Good evening and welcome back to Softball SA and Space Quake Sports productions of the 29th edition of the Arthur Allsop Shield, playing in the Under-17 Boys National Championships. James Harris here, and joining me, Mark Cramp, and Aussie Steelers player Jared Farrell will bring you all the statewide super special comments. Good afternoon, good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, James. Jared, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good to be here on a fine West Beach night.
Now, we are spoiled for talent at this table. The world famous Nan Angels player, Mark Cramp, and of course, Jared, you also play for a pretty good team as well.
Yeah, not too bad at all, mate. Not too bad at all.
Well, you will be travelling to New Zealand in early February to play in the TAB Challenge Cup.
TAB Challenge Cup. Weekend away, facing up against New Zealand and Japan, I believe. So going to be a great weekend for the guys in the squad to really get a good shootout before Worlds.
We saw a couple of fresh-faced names in that team, just off of a World Championship gold medal in the Junior World Championships. So one of your battery partners will be Leighton Reid and Sean Lanigan.
Yep, no, good to see another hard-throwing right-hander come out of Australia in Leighton Reid. Really impressive during Worlds, and I look forward to throwing alongside of him, as well as Sean Lanigan, who have thrown a bit of club ball with at Skins, and no, definitely a crafty left-hander, and so some good talent coming through.
Well, you'll also be pitching alongside of Harry Peters as well. He played in the recent All-Stars game. It was the South Australian Open men's and under-19 men's combined side against the Nan Angels, and just another famous name to go along on the Nan Angels list, Mark.
And he did very, very well too, young fella. Got a good career ahead of him. I might better put in a good word for him. What I'm very excited about is to sit next to Jared Farrell tonight. Last time I faced him, I let him strike me out just to get his confidence up before he heads away.
Thanks, Crampy, much appreciated.
No, I'm do that for South Australian softball.
All right, well, let's get to the action. Actually, guys, we're going to be joined by the recently appointed Junior Aussie Steelers head coach, Jeff Coultis. He's along probably about 4 or 5 seats to our left, and he's just warming up the vocal cords as he just starts scouting for the next Junior Aussie squad. So he'll be watching with keen interest. So we've done a pretty good job of padding for time, fellas, because there's just been a couple of late changes, and we are going to look for a groundsman, and I will leave things to Mark and Jared just to pad a little bit longer. Maybe you can go through the lineups, fellas.
Well, there's another feather in James's bow there. Jared, groundsman, executive officer, extraordinaire softball player. Well, he says that.
Throws rockets on the weekends, if you ask him.
Just, he catches rockets. We'll quickly go through the lineup while we're here. I'll start with the Western Australian side, if you like, and then you can run through the South Australian side. So we've got, now, if I get these names wrong, I apologise to anyone that's listening. It's Austin Hagen, I think it is, playing 4. Zachary Gomersall playing shortstop. What happened to good old names like Mark Cramp and stuff like that? Was Aaron
Matt Smith.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Kapoor, I think it is. He's playing centre field. Jordan Jeffries at right field. Riley Cross playing first base. Samuel Bettles playing. He's catching. And Jack Calcott playing third base. Patrick O'Neill is pitching, and Trent Wood left field.
No worries. And for SA tonight, starting lineup will be Callum Turner calling signs behind the dish tonight. We've got Connor Cameron in at second base. We've got Caleb Zachary at shortstop. We've got Jack Besgrove at first base. We've got Adam Davey starting on the mound tonight. We've got Hayden DeBeestein, I think it is, in at third. We've got Cuba, the great Buckskin at centre field. Left field, we've got Sam Zeeks, and we've got Oliver Skews in at the DP role tonight, and the flex is Tallis Richardson.
Jared, tell me a little bit about Cuba Buckskin. I watched a bit of the game the other night. He got a couple of good reps. Doesn't mind swinging the bat.
Yeah.
Tell me, do you know him?
Yeah, we have a little bit to do with Cuba. No, obviously a big, strong lad for, I think he's about 15. Yeah, has a good swing on him, a lot of power, upper body power, and plays the field really well. Can play a bit of infield, bit of outfield pitches, and I think we saw him short the other night as well. So
this is one
can
of the
get around the grounds.
This is one of the multiple pickups that South Australia's got.
No,
he's a
local
Aussie local boy from. Where is he playing? Do we know? Don't tell me he's a Red Sox player.
No. I believe he plays for Torrens Valley in the Hills competition.
Awesome.
So not one of we fostered.
No, yet, but I'm sure the Red Sox got their eye on him unless Harndorf gets to him first when he graduates.
Get your checkbook out.
It looks like a glorious night. The wind's picked up a little bit. I don't know who that's going to favour. It may favour the South Australians side being a bit of a hometown advantage, home ground advantage. But the Western Australian boys look pretty confident. I'm just watching them now. They're standing over there. They're very, very tall. The young fellas, I mean, to me, everybody's tall. But to you, they're getting big and they're looking like good ball players. Everybody around this tournament at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely some size and some good-looking beards, if I must say, for 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
Put me to shame.
Well,
but no, with the weather, it's quite chill in the shade here, but quite a bit of wind, so you get the ball up in the air tonight. Expect a few to go out, I reckon.
The way I've been watching the games, a great game last night, the girls' game. A great game for the South Australian girls versus Western Australia. I also watched the South Australian versus Victoria game. I got back from New South Wales. I was unfortunate not to get here and watch that game live, but I watched it when I got home. What a cracking game. They swing the bat hard, and to get hit by a batted ball as the tying run, it breaks your heart a little bit, doesn't it?
It does. It can't be any more South Australian than that, then. It's just unlucky.
It was devastating because that was and you know what, that was a great climax to a game that had everything.
It just had everything.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. The boys are developing well. We've got some very good young fellas that are coming along. You know, the captain of South Australia, James Goslet, he's playing for the Harndorf Magpies in the A grade division. He fills in. He's got a lot on his shoulders. He's got some import pickup players that play together. So this team's they're going to get better as the tournament goes on. We haven't got much.
It's a long week.
Yeah.
It's what 10 games or something, 8 games, but it ends up being a long week mentally and physically. So for the kids that are going through it for the first time, it can be a bit of a shell shock sort of experience for the first couple of days, but you definitely get into the routine by, say, 3 or 4 days and into a few games.
Sorry to cut you off, but you've been to a lot of these. You're a very well-known player in South Australia, very well respected. Does it make it harder that it's a home tournament? Do you feel like there's a little bit more pressure? Tell me. I mean, I've never played a home tournament.
We played home tournament, I think, 4 years ago. It was in SA, and I think it was a lot more relaxing, to be honest, than being away. You were around people that you constantly see, and you're around family and friends can come out and watch. So for me, there was a lot less pressure, I felt, to go away and perform. You were basically in your own backyard playing on your turf. So a lot of things as a pitcher, you're more comfortable. You throw off the same mound a lot. You're in the same environment. So it just becomes almost like a regular club game. So,
well, James is walking off the mound. He's giving the crowd a bit of a salute. They're giving him a hit, putting the hat back on now.
Usually that's just after he strikes out.
Yep. He's one for a bat toss. The truck has left the ground. Now, just going back onto yourself, your personal development. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I personally have noticed a great development mentally. Maturity coming from you. Is that an influence that the Aussie Steelers, Adam Folkard, I know you spent a fair bit of time with him. Is that rubbed off on you? Is it fatherhood? Is it your lovely wife, Leah? What is it that's made you develop and mature up as a man in the last few years, and also a great ball player?
It's a lot just being in a great environment. You're in an environment where you're constantly, I suppose, being judged in a good way. You're getting feedback all the time on what you can do better, what what you need to work on, and you play a lot more high-level games. And the more high-level games you can play, the more things you start picking up on. So it becomes less skill-based on your development and actually more mental-based, and how you go about getting through a game mentally and not necessarily physically, because you've already developed all those skills.
Yeah. Influence-wise, though, for you, in the last 2 or 3 years, who has had the greatest influence, apart from James, on your game?
You probably couldn't narrow it down to one. It's probably just a few guys, really, a lot of interstate guys that we get to play ball in Queensland a lot, in WA. But let's get back to the action here, mate.
Excellent. Well, we're about to start. And here we go, the first pitch underway.
Leading off for the South Australian team is the catcher, Callum Turner. Have we gone through the lineups, fellas?
Yeah, we have, mate. You were doing some landscaping while we were reading through them. I don't know if I got the names. That's it.
Chops at the ball, going to the right side. It lands just foul. Luckily for Callum, as he wasn't out of the box too quickly. So, evening up the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, the SA boys are playing a second game of a doubleheader. They played Victoria just prior to this game, and they went down 12 runs to 5 as Turner fouls this one to the left side this time. But they were in front, so some great signs from this developing South Australian boys team, who are sitting on bottom of the ladder, unfortunately. New South Wales clear top. And on 8 wins, 2 games clear of Queensland. Western Australia in 3rd place, Victoria in 4th place, and South Australia rounding it out in 5th. It's actually been pretty close for most of the teams. Yeah, we've seen some blowouts, but at the same time, we've seen some big plays from each team. Yesterday, Jack Bestgrove for South Australia against New South Wales. New South Wales, up to that point of the tournament, had only given up 5 runs. He hit 3 hits for the game, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs for himself in 1 game against top of the table New South Wales, and that equates for half their runs against in the tournament. 90 runs for, 12 runs against, so a great performance. Callum Turner again fouls this one off. Watch out, Jeffrey. Callum, that's not the way to get the Aussie coach's attention, mate, as Jeff Coultis dives to cover.
One way to get noticed. That's a fantastic stat, James, that you just rattled off there. That's an impressive game for the young man, and he'll only build on that.
Well, he's batting 4 in this game, playing first base, so I'm interested to see what he can come up with in this game. The other star performer for South Australia, you cannot go past Caleb Zackley. He has been on fire. He's got a hit in every game that he's played so far, including that 3-run triple just the other night against Victoria. Shot from Callum Turner, just foul. Goes one bouncing into the fence, but it didn't go above waist height.
Jared and I were just having a chat about the mix of this team and their pickups and how they're going to gel, and they'll get better and better as the competition goes on. We're running out of time now. We've got the final starting in about 3 days, so they've got a couple more games under their belt, but they will gel, and if they grow together.
It is a good group. They're all South Australian this week. Ball 4, what a great turn at bat. It's a good lead-off.
Yeah, always a good lead-off to get a walk.
Particularly after what he hit, half a dozen foul balls as well.
It's a good 7-8 pitch at bat there.
I did ask the question, James, about Cuba Buckskin. I didn't know that he was a Torrens Valley or a Hills player. I was impressed. I've been watching him on the TV, and I like the way he goes about it.
Cuba's been around the state a fair bit, mate. He's played at Centrals, and he's played at NAMSA, and he's played in the Hills, so he's done the rounds, as most young state players do in South Australia, and at the moment currently registered there. Cuba, as a matter of fact, hit a 3-run home run in a game against Queensland yesterday, and I'm sure that would have been a massive highlight for him and his mum Deb, but he was 2 for 2 today before he had to come off injured. The diving back into first base, the first base player stood on his hand. Anyway,
no good.
Connor Cameron, it is, second base player for South Australia.
Had a couple of good hacks here. Looking to go long. I like the positivity the South Australian boys are bringing to this.
Foul ball.
Little change up there, James, a bit of change of pace. I've noticed that's happening a fair bit lately.
Yeah, Patrick O'Neill is the pitcher for WA. He's also a draft player, and he is from Queensland originally, but obviously playing for the Western Australians this week. Have you been able to pick his pitches yet, Joe? That was a change. Another change of pace.
Gave it a wiggle.
Called strike, and Connor Cameron goes down looking, leaving the runner at first, stranded for the time being. What have you noticed so far, Jared?
Look, some good change of pacing. He's trying to work ahead in the count, which is good. You really want to get off to a good start in this first innings, especially after a long lead off at bat. And also pound the zone here.
Caleb Zachary up to bat, batting in the 3 spot tonight. Shows bunt and was not standing still and nowhere near it. So he's got to keep still when he's trying to lay down a sacrifice bunt.
Yeah, it didn't really look like anything, did it? Didn't look like a cover swing, a cover bunt, an attempt. It was a little bit mixed match.
If I was Coach Calvin Williams, I'd be letting him swing away. He's batting 3 and he's hitting the storm at the moment this tournament. Swing and a miss at this one. So he's behind in the count early, 0-2.
South Australia and Western Australia have actually got a pretty good relationship. A lot of our boys have played. Oh.
Yeah, you're right, Mark. Over the last couple of years, both the Goodman brothers, Harry May, Ben Marsh, have all represented WA in a combined team. And we will see those boys playing in the SA Under-19s team in Blacktown in the last week of January. So good to see that the SA boys have put a team together. And
absolutely, mate.
Well, Caleb Turner's looking for third. Great running, diving in, and as was Caleb Zachary, he'll stand up at second on the throw. So I said it before, boys, he's got a hit in every game so far, and the roll continues.
And didn't he hit it too, Jared? I mean, he laced that through shortstop.
Absolutely middled, but from Patrick, 4 down balls in a row there. He's going to see something good. Good 2-strike adjustment there and just driven to the gap. Great at bat.
Sorry to cut you off there too before, James. He's very excited though when he swings the ball, swings the bat and it comes off like that. We all jump at the same thing. So I'll let you run through that next time. Apologise.
All good. Jack Besgrove it is. He's swinging a hot stick as well this tournament. So I think he's hit 3 now, 3 home runs for the tournament. 2 coming in one game against the top side.
Good time for a dinger.
Every pitcher loves to come out when there's a couple of runs on the board early on. Big cut, and look where his head was looking there.
He gets that big step going early, doesn't he? I might try that next time I face Jared, just get that big step going. Try some of these young fellas. What do you like to throw, Jared? What's your usual routine?
Usually a low lifter down the middle to you, Crampy, just to tempt you.
Yeah. And I leave it all the time.
This
That's crushed up the middle.
Down the middle. Caleb's going to get on his bike from second and score. The centre fielder for WA just hesitated on that. Callum Turner scores from third. Zachary scores from second. And Besgrove, another couple of RBIs, young fella. You're having a tournament.
Mate, did you see the wheels? Just the wind's blowing everything away there. I mean, so I apologise for a second.
Zachary?
Exactly. How were the wheels on that young fella? He was coming home. Hesitation out of the centre field. Maybe could have made a bit closer play, but Aaron Kapoor, I think it was, that hung on to it a little bit longer than he probably should have. Western Australia are just getting together and having a bit of a chin wag now about what they're going to do. Good batting. You see him standing over there on first base, pretty chuffed with himself. It was a very nice swing. Here we are now. Oh, a big hack there by Davies. He's starting the game. Have you seen him throw? And what do you think of the way that Adam Davey throws, Jared?
I've seen him in a few lead-up games. Very tall delivery. So it'd be good to see him out here. See what he can put on offer tonight, especially coming out. Nothing beats having 2 runs in the top of the innings to come out, just to take the nerves off.
Yeah, and especially with you're the 5th batter, and there's already 2 runs on the board. Here we go now. Oh, he chased that a little bit high on that one, I thought. Going up with it, killed it off. He's looking quite confident in the box there, kicking the dirt around. All pitchers love to get in that box, hang on to the bat. Oh, he chased it.
Pace. Very good change of pace there.
Yeah, set him up with that high one. He swung at it pretty hard and then just a bit of a change of pace. It was a bit of a drop ball or come in there nicely. Now Hayden Dabblestein playing 3rd base. And a big swing going foul. The wind's picking up now.
Yeah, it has picked up a bit, hasn't it? It was quite still earlier on in the day, but the afternoon, the West Beach sea breeze has kicked in a little, and at the moment it's been in the favour of SA. They've had 3 runners on. 2 runs have already scored. Bestgrove on first base. No one's there to be hit, and another strikeout watching. So 2 strikeout victims for the inning for O'Neill. And but South Australia able to put 2 runs on the board, courtesy of the leadoff walk from Callum Turner. Caleb Zackley with that line drive to the outfield, and then the 2 RBI single from Bestgrove. SA on the board early.
Well, that was a good start. That was a very, very good start for South Australia. It doesn't matter how fast you take off, you've still got the bottom half of the innings to close out. Now, this will be the opportunity for Davies to close out in the defence, and I'm very interested to see how he pitches, this young fella.
So coming up to bat at the top of the lineup today will be Austin Hagen. Let's see if he can get in to the box, get a good start, and try and work the count deep.
Yeah, I can make a slight correction. There was 3 strikeouts there in the first inning for O'Neill.
Yeah, I think it was. My paperwork got blown around here. We're starting to get a bit. We got a few technical difficulties with the wind, but it was a good start from Western Australia. They started off a little bit slow. 2 runs, but 2 cracking hits. You can't go. There's nothing to blame, is there? When you get 2 perfect hits like that bring in 2 runs, what do you do?
We might have to check the SA lineup. See if who's on 3rd base. If we got a number there, number 60, yeah, Dabblestein. I've got 2 different lineups in front of me.
No, we're going back to the original lineup. We were going to have some changes before the game, and then we're going with the original lineup. Ignore. So just go back to the original one, and the only change that we've had was Oliver Askew was number 21, not number 22. So Davies in his motion and starts his account off with the ball.
All right, well, South Australia will try and defend their lead early in the game and try to also get their first win of the tournament. They've come close a couple of times, but last time these 2 teams played, WA were convincing winners.
Well, he went after that, a little bit high.
Yep, foul ball. Yeah, WA were convincing winners, 13-2 earlier on in the tournament. WA have had 3 wins. They beat Victoria 11-8. They beat South Australia 13-2. And they also had a second win against Victoria. It's a triple round draw for the 17 boys with only the 5 teams. They won that 10-8. So 2 really close games against Victoria. So that'll be a matchup to watch later in the week. Well, that one will have... This one pops up to left field. And the man out there, Sam Zweck, has not read it too well. The breeze is absolutely blowing hard out on the diamond. We're feeling it here from the sheltered commentary position, but yeah, he had a rough time reading that one. And leadoff hitter Hagen for WA has a life.
Yeah, definitely. As we spoke about earlier in the broadcast, you get this ball up into the wind and you don't even have to middle it, and we're going to see a few balls go out tonight.
I was having a quick chat to Coach Holiday just before the start of this game. They were walking out in the game early. Having a big chat about the standings. This game for Western Australia and the next Vic Western Australian game will have a big impact on the finals, the way that they're currently standing now.
Hagen with a shot to centre field and a good catch taken by Cuba Buckskin, a crowd favourite, and he's developing a bit of a cult following.
Yeah, so the way that the ladder stands, you may end up seeing Victoria versus Western Australia in the first finals, winner to move on if the trend continues. So they all count from now, don't they?
They're nearly finished the end of the second of the 3 rounds as Gomasal attempts the running bunt, which goes foul. Zachary Gomasal is the shortstop for WA. Yeah, the finals are a top 4, and top will play second, and third will play fourth, with 5th place not featuring in the final series. I'm not saying that the positions look set just yet, but it does look like New South Wales will go through on top and Queensland in second. And like you said, Mark, WA and Victoria are fighting for that 3rd place. Unless South Australia have a change of luck with their form, they've got a bit of an uphill battle. But yeah, the WA Vic clash, the next time they play, is going to be intriguing. Great pitch on the outside, but just missing. Davey liked it.
I liked it too, mate. That was a good pitch and tough on him.
Going back to the bunt situation we saw, a bit high there. Going back to the bunt situation, you don't see that much in the junior men's, or I don't see it much. You guys have watched a lot more than me, but is it something that is going to start creeping in the bunt game? We've talked about this in the women's on the Wednesday nights and stuff when we start talking. Is it coming back? Is it making a trend back, the bunt?
You don't see it a lot in the men's game. It's basically still a power game. But I think sometimes you...
Run it go. So this game's about power and speed. It was a delayed slide, I think you'd call that.
It was ugly and delayed. Yep. Yeah, so just going back to the power game.
Super replay will show it here. Watch the slide from
and it's a tumble.
Well, he changed his mind about sliding around. I think he fell over in the end. But he's having a laugh because he's arrived safely. 3-hitter is Aaron Kapoor. Yeah, I think so too with the bunt, Mark, is that the men's game is about power, it's about speed, it's about getting the ball into play, and just under the glove of 3rd base player Davilstein, Caleb Zackley does the mopping up. 2nd base player just misses it altogether. Kapoor is going to score and tie the game. That ball has gone around the diamond under the 3rd base's glove. Shortstop backed it up from shallow left field and overthrew it into right field foul territory. The statewide super replay will show it here. Just a comedy of errors here from the SA boys. No one backing up and then no talk for who's going to pick it up, and then 1st base player who picks up a stationary ball with a glove overthrows it to the back net. So, well, just like that, the SA lead evaporates and WA have tied it with just the 1 out. And this is Jordan Jeffries up to bat.
the positive thing about that, let's look positive, is that they'll see the replay and they can look at where they made their mistakes. And we'll leave it at that.
Well, the other positive was how quick the WA boys got around the diamond, and here comes Kapoor as he watches and stands up easily to score. Thanks very much to Statewide Super for that replay.
He should be proud of himself. He just kept running, Jared, didn't he? Head down, and he did not stop. He kept looking at his coaches, and he made it all the way home. And that was good team running.
Jeffries grounds out, third base by Doublestein, makes a good play, threw that hard across the diamond to make sure the out was made. Second out.
Good adjustment there by Jeffries. Notice the 2-strike adjustment there. The second strike, big power swing. He just tamed it down a bit, got the ball into play. Yes, he's out at the end of the day, but he made the field work for the out.
He made contact, didn't he? And hit it to third base where the error was just made. So his confidence would have been down a little bit. So you're right, you just choke up a little bit and make contact.
Riley Cross up to bat now for WA. He's playing first base. Haven't seen too much of the Western Australians this tournament. It's been plenty going on as the under-17 girls, the Esther Deason Shield is going on simultaneously, and so it'll be interesting to see how the new hitter goes for WA. He's batting 5, so obviously he can swing the bat. And does so at this change-up. Good control from Davey on that change-up, because it looked like it was going to go through for a strike, but he swung and missed and goes down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Good location there. You basically can't do anything with that. That's foul.
Crushed that one though, down the left side. Only just foul.
There's nothing worse trying to be a power hitter. You get into a rhythm, and they throw you a great changer. They're the devil. They are the devil, and I don't like them. See how many Jared throws me next game.
Shortens up in the grip. Also another 2-strike adjustment. So WA with a game plan here. And good for them. They didn't panic either. Although South Australia scored 2 in the first, they just went about their business, and they've managed to do it themselves. So it's come off a walk and a couple of errors. Another foul ball. So that's making the most of your opportunities.
He's choking up on the bat a little bit, just creeping up on the handle, but he's still swinging hard. Is that a full adjustment? Is that just to poke at the ball? I thought you're supposed to go at it a little bit slower, but he's still giving it a bit.
Oh, great take at Doublestein, and good stretch from Bestgrove at first base to make the third out. So good point that you bring up, Mark. A lot of people don't change their swing, but they do make an adjustment on the handle or their stance. But try not to change too much.
Great arm by Doublestein. That was fantastic. That's two throws, and they came over like rockets, Jared. He's got a good arm.
Yeah, good arm from third base there. Big, tall, strong. Moved well to his left then to pick that ball and just fired the cannon into first.
We talk about it a lot in the women's game that we, on Wednesday nights and Saturdays, that we commentate on, and thanks to Spacequake Sports, we telecast live. We talk about the speed in the game. Now you've got players, the Travelodge Aussie Spirit players like Jordan Lambert, runs like the wind, could probably run as fast as the wind tonight. That makes a big impact when you're on base. All you need to do as a batter is just make contact, and you know they're going to try and advance, right? With the men's game, there's a bigger bodies. We know it's a power game, but I've noticed there's a couple of young fellas out here. You know, Caleb Zachary, like he's a little whippet. Good idea to get him on and bunt him around. I mean, am I just thinking of a women's game? The ladies.
It's just playing to your strengths, really. Like if you've got a big power team, then you can go out and hit. But you're not going to be able to out-hit a pitcher every single night of the week.
Yeah.
So you are going to have to use that speed. So if you've got a lot of speed in your team, you need to use it. Base running is probably one of the most underrated aspects of softball. Great base running wins games all the time.
I love it and I rate it, and we've got some very, very good talent in South Australia for base running.
To bat is crowd favourite Cuba Buckskin. Good eye watching that one through low for a ball. Just got that thumb heavily strapped. So as I mentioned earlier, I think the first base player stood on his hand when he dove back after one of his hits. It's a piece of this one and it goes foul. If you see tape on the hand, Jared, do you think of that as a bit of a target, try and jam up a batter and make them uncomfortable?
Not usually. I hope my catcher sees that and starts calling inside, but I don't take too much notice. But
are you saying all pitches are innocent?
Always. All pitches are always innocent. We just do what we're told.
Down and in on Buckskin. Get a wry smile to the man on my right, Mark Cramp. You do a little bit of both, don't you, Mark? A bit of pitching and catching?
It sounds like a pitcher-catcher combo there. A bit of mutual love. Mutual Admiration Society. Two very, very good players that have come from South Australia, and I'm glad you guys do play together. It's a great thing to watch when you're both on fire.
You know how I can tell catchers are smarter? Because I'm wearing a hoodie and he's wearing a t-shirt, freezing at the moment. The ball hit while in the box. Buckskin in the walls today.
He's swinging the bat, and he's a solid unit. I mean, the catcher Samuel Bettles, he's a big unit too, and he's making Cuba probably not look as big as he is on TV, but he's a big unit, Cuba, and be interesting to see.
Cuba's been in the system for a few years now, but never actually played in his own age group, always playing up. Chops at this one, and it goes up the middle, so Cuba Buckskin on an absolute roll at the moment. The 3-run home run 2 games ago against Queensland, 2 for 2 in this game, the previous game against Victoria, and lead in this first at-bat here, a single up the middle. What'd you see, Mark?
Well, he reaches for it. Watch how he comes up with it, and so he sort of gets on top of it, doesn't he? He just chops it down, but he went up with it early, and that was a good pick, because he went up with it early, so good on him.
Oh, top-up bunt from Zwerk, and Buckskin has to dive back into first, and you know what was going through his mind then. Last time he did that, he had to come off injured. Let's watch the statewide super replay. Dweck it is that bunts and just pops it up for third base player Colcott and takes a good catch and makes a good play. There you go, Mark. There's an example of what we're talking about. It takes away an opportunity, doesn't it, if it doesn't go right? So sacrifice bunt, by definition, you're sacrificing your own out. Why not try and get a single?
A little bit more on that, and it would have been one of those bloopers that ends up with a runner at second and a runner at first.
Hard charging third, you can always get that over the top if you're lucky enough, but you always want that ball safely on the ground to move your runner.
I like watching Kieran O'Leary. He can do that. He's pretty good at just popping the ball over the infield on the short game, but then he can go long handle as well from the left-handed box. So I think that's the difference when you can do it all. If you can bunt and hit, then it's a weapon. But if you're just a specialist bunt player, we've seen it in the under-17 girls so far this week. The outfield are almost standing on the dirt. They're attacking that hard, knowing what's coming. Oliver Askew, the hitter for South Australia, is playing DP in this game. Has been pretty handy with the bat. Has been watching patiently as well. Picked up a couple of walks the other night against Victoria, and Cuba Buckskin advances to second on the pass ball.
Yeah, very good zone control. Knows where that outside corner is, know where the low one. Really been watching well. So let's see if he can come up with a hit here and score Cuba from second.
Bit of an unorthodox batting style here. Gets the bat off his shoulder at the last minute.
Took the words right out of my mouth. But that's what makes it unique, isn't it? Everyone can stand in the box a different way. They get ready to go. You just got to make contact.
Well, it makes him look unassuming. The kid can play, but it just looks relaxed and calm, and there he goes. Like I said, very watchful, and on a full count, has the confidence to leave one on the outside edge.
Just didn't even twitch there. Just Stood, knew it was a ball as soon as he left his hand.
You were right, Jared. He was watching that. Very, very disciplined batting. I might have a chat to him after this and just see what he saw.
Well, we've seen some pretty good juniors come out of South Australia. I know they've been few and far between, but guys like Matt Dean, Ben Lucas are playing at the moment. I'd love to see him back playing in the game.
I would too. A very, very, very talented player, Ben Lucas. His brother still playing.
Yeah, he'll go away with the S19 team as game's original leadoff. Callum Turner fouls this one off.
He's getting plenty of the ball tonight in the foul area. See if he can stay off that ball with the letters and drive something out here.
Good eye.
Well, from this view, from the centre field camera, if we can get that view back up, our good friend David Muggleton, who's controlling the panel here, our producer for Space Quake Sports, the catcher's just setting up right down the middle. Watch this, boys. Gets the signal. Does not move. Great play from the WA shortstop, Zachary Gomasol. He wasn't phased by the runner crossing in front of him. Plays the runner up the middle, and in an attempt for a double play, catch a speed up rule in effect. Turner dives into first to try to avoid the double play. Let's watch it here on the statewide super replay. Cuban Buckskin will cross in front of the play. Actually, he timed it very well, didn't he? He didn't block the view of the shortstop.
Just about to say, he held up just a half a step perfectly, and then the slide in first base, I think that's what got him there in the end. It's a very good running 1-3 split now with a hit up the middle on error on the shortstop. Brings Cuba in and advances the runner to first and second.
Great shot from Cameron, making up for that watch third strike in the first inning, and Gomasol had a good play in the pitch before. And just to the backhand side, he just didn't quite get a quiet read of it and hit him in the back leg, which would have been LBW in cricket, but instead it costs his team a run as the ball goes out to left field. So good piece of the ball from Cameron Turner, giving SA back the lead for Caleb Zachary.
Let's see if he can jump on another good down ball here.
Catcher Bettles for WA is almost as tall as Zachary. Crouching, setting up another error from the shortstop. We'll see the bases loaded for the big guy. Jack Basgrove up to bat with loaded bases. You do not want to see this man in the box with loaded bases if you're WA.
That's what dreams are made of, isn't it, Jimmy? Loaded bases, coming up as a power hitter. Wind blowing out to left field. We might slice one here and we'll see one on top of the dog roof. Let's hope.
Patiently watches that one go by. Jared, you've played a couple of tournaments over the last few years in WA with a few new mates that we make from sport when we travel, including the Bedford boys, of course.
Yeah, shout out to the Bedford boys. I'm sure they're tuning in to watch WA.
Oh, big swing there. Big swing at high ball.
The Bedford boyos.
The Bedford boyos.
Mark, that was a predetermined swing. It had to have been, because that ball was way above his head. Now, South Australia need Bestgrove to wait for one that's down the middle so he can absolutely launch it if he's going to swing that hard. So more of a patient turn of bat required from Bestgrove.
Just needs to set it. Knocked it down. The pitcher's knocked it down. He's going to first. Oh, and a fumble. It's going to bring in 2 runs.
Well, I'll call it for you if you like. Basgrove drills this one. It comes off Pitcher O'Neill's glove. Second base player Hagan has his work cut out and thinks he has to throw in a hurry. Watch him throw it hard, and
absolute rocket.
First base player Cross just couldn't get it because it was so close and it was low. The throw goes wild and 2 runs score. Zachary moves from first to third. It was, tell me fellas, Cameron scores from second, and Oliver Askew, who is the courtesy runner for Callum Turner, scored from third. So 2 runs scored on that play, 3 runs in the inning.
SA just being a pin-up boy here for just putting ball into play and making things happen. We haven't seen a ball go to the outfield here, and they've scored, what, 3 runs?
But you said it, James, perfectly. He had more time than he thought. He was just a bit nervous, a bit impatient. Laid off that.
So my point being, Jared, does that give you a foot in each camp if you played in WA? Nah, not at all.
Nah, not at all.
As patriotic
sorry,
as me.
Oh.
Well, pitcher Adam Davey is about to, attempting to put the ball into play. And try and keep the ball rolling for South Australia, because if any ball goes into play, Zachary's going to score. He's got the wheels, but Bestgrove's getting a massive jump at first base.
Oh, and he's taken the corner again, Jared.
Great location. Just
Yeah, look, very patient pitching there too. He got a little bit frustrated with the team behind him, but he's come back. He's taken his hat off. You can see he's a little bit he's a bit frustrated, but he stood strong and tall there and clipped that corner right when the team needed him. Now the team have huddled just before they've gotten in. The coach is having a bit of a chat to him and saying, "Don't worry about it, fellas. Only 3 runs. We can do this."
Well, huge inning for South Australia, because they scored 2, then they gave up 2, and they've just put a 3 spot on the board, and they take a lead going into the bottom half of the second inning. What's caught your attention, Mark?
Well, to be honest with you, I've got my wife over here asking if we want coffee because it's a bit cold, so we'll take 3.
Thank you so much to Kelly Cramp, the beautiful Kelly Cramp. Always nice to be looked after.
always looked after here in South Australia.
All right, fellas. Adam Davey was a strikeout victim. Well, I can't recall.
Absolutely strikeout victim.
Last out of the last inning.
Strikeout.
Got Picasso on the outside corner.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, so there's 2 strikeouts for Davey for the game. So,
Got the catcher up now.
yep, Samuel Battles. Up to bat now, the left-handed box, right-handed thrower.
They confuse me. We've got a couple of those, I think.
David just
Has a very jet right stance. Jimmy, a great player, Aussie junior stealer, and I believe made his senior debut as well at a TAB Challenge Cup. Just very open stance here, hands up high.
Good looking stance though, don't you reckon? We've got a very similar catcher in South Australia that sort of bats like that with a wide open stances. Looks for that easy inside drop or whatever he likes to chase, but this guy looks the better. He looks the part. I like it.
Catchers are normally good hitters, I find.
They should be. They see enough pitches during the game that your catcher should be a good hitter, should read the ball well.
It's almost easier, Jared, don't you reckon?
I would have thought so, yeah. In my humble opinion. That one just top of the zone there.
He's a big boy and maybe clipped the top of the logo.
But I wouldn't be leaving too many more balls in that part of the
He's
zone.
signalling to the umpire there saying, "How high do you reckon that was?" And the umpire said, "Well, I called it." And he's having a chat to him now. What do you reckon?
Timeout was called because the third base player, Dabblestein, still had his elbow guard on. He was on deck. He was the next batter.
Well, you never know when you're going to get that short hopper, do you?
called the hot corner for a reason.
Oh, Battles absolutely hits a missile out to centre field. Cuba Buckskin takes it one bounce off to the fence, and he will stand up at second. He's happy with that. He gives a clap and he calls to the bench. Rev it up, boys, he says.
I even gave that a bit of a clap to the young fella. That was an absolute rocket. That hit the fence, you know. I was very impressed with that hit. And he looks the part. Here we go on the statewide super replay. Look at that.
He's drilled that low pitch. He's watching it. He turns sick and hard. That ball comes back wet. And Zachary cuts it off and gets the ball back in. High again for a ball. So Adam Davey just needs to get his groove back here for South Australia. Keep the ball low in the zone. Try and get a ground ball if needed, but say need an out.
It's definitely the key. You can live up with success after a while, but you can't throw a whole game living up. You miss too many right in the slot. You really got to keep low, get the ground ball, get your field involved, and make the outs.
Got away on him there. Jared, you were saying before, you can notice the difference. The South Australian team, they've hit through the infield. They've made contact, made the error, forced the errors. Whereas Western Australia have come out and hit long ball, haven't they?
Just come out hitting with power, hitting good pitches high in the zone. SA have been picking a lot of low stuff, really waiting for that mistake in the pitch.
Do you notice that as a trend through the states as he gets a ball four there? Is there a trend in different states for different batting styles? You know, like you must face that, you travel a fair bit with other guys, but then you play interstate a fair bit. You notice, like, say, New South Wales, you know, they go long ball. Western Australia are batting with power. You know, Victoria's, they bunt. Like, is there a particular way that each team, or is it that comes down to the coaches?
I think it comes down to definitely down to a lot of the coaching and what they have, what tools they have. New South Wales play a very smart technical game. They have a lot of guys, a lot of left-handers, a lot of lefties, a lot of righty combos that are really good at putting ball into play, but then they've also got their power hitting like a Hayden Matthews. Queensland, a lot of power hitting there. You've got Marshall Cronk, Ryan Merriman, all play the long ball very well.
Yep.
Well, he was just covering up to the fake bunt, covering up to protect the runner stealing. He's going to run all the way from first. Bettles scores from third on that 1-3 split. And Colcott, who patiently got himself a walk. Callum Turner just tried to throw that ball too hard. Connor Cameron was breaking hard to the middle and just couldn't get a glove on it. So 2-run score on that throw.
A bit disappointing there. Cameron just dropped his head and just walked after the ball. I'll call it as I see it. He dropped his head. He made the fumble on the ball. The throw wasn't the greatest, and he just walked after it. You can see he's looking down now. He's holding the glove. He knows he should have went harder after that ball. One thing about this game, you never give up. The ball's never dead until it's dead, is it?
All 4 runs from Western Australia have come from wild throws.
Disappointing.
So, yeah. They just need to keep their composure a little bit in the field and just take it one pitch at a time. You know, it's an old adage, but it's the truth, you know, and just settle your nerves and take it as it comes. I mean, you don't have to win the game off one play, you know, and I think
it's definitely a momentum killer. You're up 5-2 at the time. It's just one simple play that might cost you a run, but it can really cost you a couple innings of momentum.
And Western Australia, they'll get you. They're looking to go on everything, and good on them. There's a strike there. Good on them though. They're capitalising on it, and they're not letting go. So,
and as we saw last night in the SAWA game, just the momentum shifts in the complete game, and you really have to play the full 7 innings. You can't win it in the first, second, or third innings. You really have to play the game out, and you don't want to be with your heads down early in the game. We're only in the bottom of the second at the moment, and it looks like it could be a hit out for the rest of the match.
Pitcher Patrick O'Neill has a big swing at that one and fouls it off, so the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. And no out, so Sam Bettles hit that double, and then Callcott got on from a walk. Then in his attempt to steal, was able to take 3 bases and a strikeout for Davey. Patrick O'Neill chasing a high pitch. They've been there most of the night so far.
Well, they've just made an error on the throw around after a good strikeout. You don't want to see that. You need the confidence up.
O'Neill is the first strikeout victim for Davey.
Is that wind settling down, fellas, or is it just a bit of a change in...
Now the Australian flag at right field looks like it's just dulling down a little.
Foul ball. This is Trent Wood, the left fielder for WA.
He's got a fair strut on him. He's
Yeah.
missed a pitch around his head.
He's got the swing. Is that what you do?
It's just gone for a strut. Like, I could have put that 400 foot. There's some confidence there. I like it.
Yeah.
Another left-hand batter, Mark. Just back to that conversation that we were having, the trends. I don't know if it's a trend. I just see more left-handed batters in most teams around the world. You know, like the top teams have got a good mix of left and right hitters, and you know what? Some of them didn't even start out as left-handers. They've developed into switch hitters, or they change from one side to the other.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I was just catching up with a couple of the big boys that I used to play with way back in the day in 90. Oh, cracking shot up the centre there, James.
Wood puts this one up the middle, and he will arrive as the 3rd safe for the inning for WA, and they have never been out of this game, have they? South Australia jumped out the blocks with 2 runs. WA got them back. SA come back with another 3 runs. WA get them back. They've actually put some big scores on the board this tournament so far. They scored 13 against SA the first time they played, and they've put 10 on Victoria in the first game that they played, and then 11 the second time. So they've got the capability to put big scores on the board.
I can't stop watching him. Oh, good on him. Hit by pitch there, a bit of a wild one, unintentional. James, you're right. Don't count them out. They'll come back, won't they?
It's been a high-scoring tournament for a lot of teams. It definitely hasn't been a pitcher-dominant tournament for the boys. So some big scores, big totaling games. So expect another one here tonight.
Guys, have you noticed that Davey, every time something bad happens, he goes to the front of his landing point, and he's just kicking the dirt out. He's doing a lot of ground maintenance. Is that something that a pitcher needs to do, Jared? He needs to be more consistent in his landing place, or he needs a solid landing platform, maybe?
I'm a big groundsman when it comes to digging the mound out at the front. I think it just takes your mind off it just a little bit. You can just, we'll just move a bit of dirt around, switch off for a second, and get back on with the next pitch.
Well, we had the Channel 7 chopper flying over there for a second.
With the Channel 7 weatherman here a couple of nights ago, did the weather.
I did see that. He was throwing a few baseball and softball innuendos and bits and pieces in there, so he did very well. Just going back to the conversation, just quickly about the thing is, I caught up with some big boys that I used to play with in 94, 95, 96, so some time ago. And there was a young fella in our team at the time, and I'll give him a shout out, David Sykes, natural right-handed batter, but made the Victorian team and batted left-handed, consistently left-handed running bunt. So I'm talking back 20-something years ago. He was learning the left-hand running bunt as a natural right-hander. And it worked. It worked well. So evolution of the game, I suppose. There's a lot of lefties in there now.
All right, lead-off hitter for WA, well, the original lead-off was Austin Hagen, and he arrived safely from a hit-by-pitch ball, and now up to bat is the shortstop, Zachary Gomersall, and first time up to bat, he got a base on balls, and he's patiently watched onto a 3-1 count so far, and he put down a bunt. It's not a squeeze. He didn't even check the runner, and the throw is late. Another wild throw. 2 more runs will cross the plate. It's pretty sad to see, I must say. He even checked the runner, but had no intention of holding him up. The runner on third was almost tempting him to make a play. He was halfway down the line, and Bestgrove's slight error in judgment there was to stretch for the ball rather than to take the ball first, and so he wasn't able to make that adjustment. The ball clips the top of his glove and goes to the foul fence, and
that just, I think, just comes with a little bit of experience there, a bit of inexperience, not knowing where to play. Probably should have just checked the runner sooner, and then probably just made the play at one. He almost was in no man's land on the replay.
He was always going to go.
You need outs.
He was always going to go. You take the ball and you charge him back to third. What are you doing?
Well, the number 3 hitter for WA is Aaron Kapoor, and he got on base.
Oh, we had a trip.
Well, pick-off attempt was pretty close, and normally I'd say not a bad idea, but seeing as that WA have scored all 6 of their runs off plays that have had wild throws, I'd be trying to, you can fake a throw to third and it has the same effect, but
I'd keep it in the holster just for the moment, huh?
On the wall, all the run scores on the wild pitch this time, and Kapoor just toying with the South Australian defence now, and another runner aboard. So a timeout's already been called this inning from SA coach Kelvin Williams. Or was that the first inning? First inning, okay, all right. Well, and I can't see any action in the SA bullpen. Perhaps there are some players heading out there now. They might need to change something up because it's not looking positive. Right now, Kapoor is again trying to toy with the defence. The statewide super replay will show the runner crossing the plate.
Someone I haven't seen pitch yet for South Australia is the captain, James Gosling. Saw him warming up before the game. He's keen to get into the circle.
Another pick-off attempt from Callum Turner. Well, the skipper of the team, James Gosler, has actually had a pretty good tournament. He's played mostly the right side of the diamond at first and second base. I'd be surprised to see him come into this game. I was actually surprised to see that Bestgrove wasn't pitching. I know he pitched a little bit in the game before, but even if he started, but they've got a couple that they can go to. Even Caleb Zachary can roll his arm over if required as well. Cuba Buckskin, who's playing centre field. What are you seeing, Mark?
Well, I'm just looking at the young fellow there, Davey. He's very vocal out there. He's got his head down. He's talking to himself. It's not a positive sign, Jared. You want your boys to get behind you. You don't want your pitcher to be sort of aggressive towards you. There's only 1 run in it, and they've scored 5 runs. So he just needs to go, right, I'm going to do my job here. I'm going to hit the corners. There it is.
Good corner.
He started using his legs just in that pitch there.
He's pushing off, getting angry, isn't he?
Yeah, as a pitcher, you really need to use your legs the whole game, and just at the start of this innings here, just to back off a bit.
Look, I'll be the first one to say that I was very immature at 16, 17 years old, and it's probably taken me till I was about 40 to grow up. So these boys are going to learn a lot, and they've got a lot of mature coaches and people around them. So you can understand when they get frustrated and they drop the glove and they drop the hand, because we've got to keep remembering they're 16, 17-year-old boys, right? Some 15-year-olds out there as well. They will develop and they will learn and they will grow from it, but as long as they... Oh, that's a
great shot
hit
from Cross. This guy's ball's going to hit the fence, and Sam Zweck at left field fires the ball in. Oh, the shortstop, Caleb Zachary, just held on to the ball a little too long and allowed Jeffrey score. Kapoor crosses the plate. Jeffries crosses the plate. 6 runs this inning for WA as they take a 3-run lead. Let's watch the cutoff here. Look, he just holds onto it.
Great throw from the shortstop, but he hesitated, didn't he? Look at this hit.
A double pump.
That's power. That is a power hit, and that came out hard.
And Cross will stand up at second base.
He was always looking for 2 as well.
Yeah, that was
Straight off
aggressive,
the bat.
aggressive base running, and that's the same base runner. Oh, look at it, it's gone, Jared.
This is Battles. He led off
It's
the
into the
inning.
wind.
Right fielder for South Australia is Tallis Richardson. He didn't get a good read of the ball. He gets the ball in quickly though, and Battles will stand up at third. Cross scores for WA, a 7th run. That ball was launched. He watched it as well, didn't he? He thought it had a chance.
It's not the first person I've seen try and launch a ball at right field, stand there and watch him fall short by 10 foot. It's very deceptive here at right field. The fences are 230 with a, what, 8 foot, 10 foot fence?
8 foot fence.
8 foot
Yeah.
fence, but
Built
with
by
the,
Locum Properties. Thank you very much.
with the wind pumping to left field, you're never going to get that ball out.
You just take the cheat side and go the left or the centre, is that right, Jared? That's where you aim?
Always go left centre here.
You aim for the dog club, don't you?
That's right.
You can just sit it up and the breeze just helps it go. I've seen some massive hits on this diamond. You mentioned one of them before, Marshall Cronk. He played an under-17s tournament. Here's a weird stat for you. I'll give it to you in a moment. Tallis Richardson's got a job ahead of him as the ball goes foul. I'll give you a stat. The South Australia has hosted 2 boys under-17 national championships. The very first one in 2011, and it will be the last one this year in 2019 because the age group changed from under-16s to under-17s, and then it changes back next year from under-17s back to under-16. So just a little bit of trivia for you. But one of those guys that played in that first under-17 national championship was Marshall Cronk, and I can remember seeing him launch a ball that would have gone over the dog club. Absolute massive hit for a kid who would have been 15, 16 years of age at the time.
Yeah, it's good to see when you get on them, they go, don't they?
Yeah, that was a formidable team. Marshall Cronk, Wagner.
Yeah, Josh Wagner.
Merriman was
Ryan,
in there as
oh,
well.
Man.
Just 3 power hitters right there.
Now batting, number
We've
8,
also seen some very, very big hits in the local competitions, James. It's always good when you hear the clunk of the dog club roof. Not so good when you're standing at centre field.
Yeah, the MFSA is based out of West Beach. That's the men's fast pitch South Australia. Check out their Facebook page. It's got about 300 likes. And they have a good relationship with ours fastball as well out of the USA. And they were named the Softball Australia local competition or local association of the year in 2013. Just by the way, Jared.
That's great. I love seeing the Cayman Islands do some great things. Good change of pace, but just hung it up too high.
Gilbert Buxian had his work cut out for him. Oh, takes a good catch, a sacrifice fly, because Battles crossed on the plate. Guys, I didn't realise that there was only the one out.
Yeah, I don't think Cuba did either. That guy, that could have been a possible play at home plate. How's his arm? How's Cuba's arm? Not too bad? Jared's giving me the OK signal, so Jared throws around 100, 105 change-ups, kilometres an hour. What are you up to these days, Jared? What are you getting clocked at?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember the last one, but yeah, somewhere in the mid 130s, low 130s. I mean, low 130s.
They sound quick when they go past me anyway, so good on you.
They come off pretty quick too. Well, Wood's up to bat. Guys, this is the 13th batter of the inning. There's 2 out, 2 balls. WA put 8 on the board. There's still a runner on second. Wood backs out of this one and he's got a 3-0 count. Well, we probably started talking about the bullpen about 6 runs ago, and it might be too late.
This is in danger of being a very, very, very big score and a blowout, isn't it? If we don't see a change, and we don't see a change of attitude, maybe this will be developing. Here we got the coach coming out now, Kelvin. He's coming out to have a chat to his boys. Maybe he's seen enough and just wants to mix it up a little bit.
You always got to change it up, keep the body guessing, and they're right, Crampy.
Yeah, look,
pitching change has got to be made, and Caleb Zackley's going to come in from shortstop. He's been in the hitting lineup, he's batting 3, and he's been playing shortstop, so he hasn't had a chance to warm up since before the game. So these 5 warm-up pitches are all he's going to get. But there is 2 out, so perhaps if they can get a quick or a cheap out here, they're coming in pretty quick actually.
That's nice.
Looks pretty good. So if they can get a cheap out, maybe you can roll the arm over a little more, get it warmed up a little bit, and out of the Hills Association as well, isn't he, Caleb? What club's he playing for?
I believe he plays Torrens Valley in one men's league, and then he plays A grade for Chunga as well. So gets the 2 games in on a Saturday.
So B grade for Torrens Valley,
Yep.
and does he do much pitching for either of those teams?
He does do a bit of pitching, I think, with Cuba in Torrens Valley, and he plays the field for Chunga A grade. So great young talent out of the Hills.
Well, for those watching at home, the Hills Softball Association has been the breeding ground of some champion men's softballers and pitchers. We saw Sam Flynn, Luke Andrews, Morgan Young, and of course your good self, Jared Farrell and Matthew Cooper, all out of the Hills Association, and maybe Caleb might be one of those names that we're talking about in 15, 20 years' time.
A couple of those guys you just mentioned, Luke Andrews, Sam Flynn, we might be enticing them back for the Neon Angels Masters. I know Luke Andrews is already in. Plugger.
Yeah,
Sam
he's
Flynn.
been playing a bit up in the hills as well, which is good to see him back out.
He's hitting the ball well too, the big fella.
Can he ever?
Huh?
Can swing a stick.
Good on him too.
Well, for his first batter, we go back to the top of the WA lineup and Austin Hagen. Already this inning has had a turn at bat hit by a pitch ball, and that one nearly clipped the heels again. 2 balls the count.
It's a funny game. You can South Australia were up. They were high, they were on a buzz. And now you can see it in their face, these young men are not enjoying this game.
Another base on balls for Western Australia. It's yeah, we're running out of things to talk about, fellas, aren't we? It's
Well, look, to be honest with you, it's disappointing to see. And like I said to you before, the attitude will grow with these young fellas. What they need to do is they need to learn from this. I've seen Jared in the same position before, and he's grown into a very, very good player and a mature man now. I think I spanked him around when he was a young fella, and he's come back to haunt me now forever, but I'm talking years ago. Jared, talk to me. These young fellas will learn a lot out of this. I've seen Harry May develop through his latter years, hasn't he? He's become a little bit more mature.
Oh, definitely. It's pitching. Definitely, it's a maturity thing. You can learn the skills fairly quickly, I suppose, but to be in this situation and to be in this sort of game, you really need to, like, these guys have never been in this situation before, coming out, a lot of these guys first nationals, and that is an absolute bomb.
That's
not quite, fellas.
in.
Not quite.
He's got some
going on?
wheels though. He's going to score 2 runs across the plate. He's going to try and score himself. He missed the home plate. Might see if we can get a statewide super replay of him. He's pretty happy with himself, Gomasol. That was a great shot out to centre right. Let's give him credit for that. Well, fellas, that is...
Here we go.
Oh, he faked bunt, crushes the ball. He liked it. He gave it a wave, and I'm sure if he had the bat, he would have flipped it. But let's see, 1 run across the plate, the 2nd run, and here he comes. He's sprinting home. No, he got the plate, got the edge.
Geez, he liked it when it came off the bat too, didn't he?
I think we all did. That was,
on the replay.
What's the wave
that was
here?
launched off the bat. But the wind comes back to haunt him again.
Again, we see a young fella trying to pick up a dead ball with a glove. Pick it up with your throwing hand, turn to the field of play, and let it go.
Well, 13 runs in the inning. There is 2 out, and the WA lead is 10 after 2 innings. Well, we haven't finished yet. Ground ball to
Good throw.
third. He's got that cannon of arm.
He's got a good arm.
He's got a bit of control on it this time round for a ground out to third base.
Well, there's the captain, James Gosler. He needs to get his troop in. He needs to pull them in and have a chat to them and pep them up. This is where he needs to lead. He's standing out there in front. He'll stand out there all day if he has to in that uniform. He loves South Australia and he loves softball, so he needs to get his guys in and have a good chat to them. Difficult innings for everybody, even including us guys. It was hard to watch from a talent perspective. It was hard to watch.
But the best part of it is, you're still getting at bat right now. Game's not over. You get to do the best part of softball and go have a hit.
100%. I did say earlier that the game could blow out. It's blown out, but now they've got to come back and swing the bat. And like you said, we got 5 runs. We get another 5 and hold them. That's getting back to respectable. $15 hits, so what's that? 5 hits to 3 hits, runs, 15 to 5. Scoreboard's looking very, very good at the moment, James. It's great to play out here at night, under lights. The ground's good. The wind's...
Night specialist, aren't you, Jimmy?
Yeah. This facility just keeps getting better and better. The upgrades that we're getting here, we're very blessed, and we thank the government of South Australia for the very generous grants that we've received. The partnership with Baseball SA's only helped us build this facility. Diamond Sports Management as well, and of course the hard work of those that are doing the work for us, because a lot of them put in some volunteer hours as well and keep the place looking good and fresh, and so we thank our volunteers as well. And we'll never say no to a volunteer, so for you in the South Australian public, if you ever want to come down and help, don't ever hesitate. As a matter of fact, I'll give a shout out to Wayne from the Redlands Softball Association in Queensland. He's here watching the National Championship supporting Queensland, and he came up to me and said, "Put me to work, mate. Give me something to do." So we gave him a rake, and he's helping out in the Diamond. So
Redlands, another quality grounds there.
Yeah. It's a softball family around Australia, isn't it? We're all in it together. We're all a good community, and if we can create a positive culture that we're all sharing and we're all helping out, it's just going to make our sport great again.
I was lucky enough to play in the Redlands 20 odd years ago, late 90s. It was a quality venue then. Showing my age there, Jared. A quality venue then, and from all reports, it's still going well, and it's based on volunteers. Oh.
Cuba Buxton gets a fair piece of this ball. It's going out to centre right. Good read from Kapoor from the WA centre fielder, and takes a great catch and leaves Dabblestein stranded at first. Well, another one that's just held up in that breeze to the right side. It's got another one of the players, but
hopefully we'll see here on the statewide super replay. Just half swung, just met with that ball. Didn't get all the full power behind it.
They're making contact. Don't drop your head. Be positive. We're making contact. Just got to get it in there. Oh, another one up. Oh, great.
That absolute streamer.
Fantastic effort. Have a look at this. Show the replay of this one, James. You'll be absolutely blown away with this third baseman. He's having a cracker night.
Sam Zweck puts down another bunt that's caught by third base for WA, Jack Colcott. Well, Sam Zweck bunting with 10 runs down. Was that a coach's signal that we saw, or...?
I believe he had the earlier bunt to Colquitt above his head.
He did,
so
yeah.
He's taken one up, one down.
Great shot. That's Oliver Askew, so a single for South Australia. Look, they've still got that aggressive intent. There's 2 out and 2 runners on, so look, SA is still threatening. Oliver's happy. Good on you, bud. He's getting a smile out of it. So
well, that's what it's all about. It's a game of mixed emotions, isn't it? Get into that dugout there and put the rally caps on and see how they go.
Well, just a slight delay because it's catcher Callum Turner who was just needed to take off the pads, because as all good catchers do, they're getting ready. Looks like there's some action in the WA bullpen as well. So 2 out, 2 runners on, back to the top of the line. You can see the WA defence just signalling to one another that Callum Turner's back up to bat. This is his 3rd time round. It is only the 3rd inning. He's had a walk and a fielder's choice from the shortstop. It was a sharp play, that one, from the WA shortstop, Gomersal, who played one of the lead runners. He let the runner go past him to 3rd, but played the one up the middle before. So Callum Turner's actually been hitting the ball very well tonight.
And there's a high one. He got away on him.
Gets away from Bettles, the catcher, or tries to make a good play at 3rd base, but safely aboard. So runners advancing for South Australia, and they're threatening again. You take out the whole bunch of errors. I think there might have been 7 walks in that last inning, and South Australia are right in this game. But I mean, it's easy to say with hindsight, and
but you got to take the complete game, and that ball is launched almost in the baseball field.
He can get away on you without you even knowing.
Yep, Patrick O'Neill still going to work. Scoreboard shows 1 out, but there is in fact 2. The centre field catch and the great diving catch from Colcott. Big swing and a miss from Turner.
Change up high there.
I like the Western Australian catcher. He's a very good looking player. He's a very good talent. Is he in the Aussie squad? Like, I don't know much about him. Tell me, have they announced the squad? Is there a junior squad? I'm not too sure, but he's.
Turner rips this one down the left field line.
Bats big. He throws hard. He's imposing. A fellow redhead, Jared. Huh?
Golden strawberry locks, aren't they?
Got nothing, mate. It's blonde.
Imagine throwing them into him.
Very good point, Mark, that you've made. There will be a junior Steelers squad named out of this tournament because the next World Championships will feature players from this championship.
Well, best of luck to everybody who's playing in this championship. I mean, it's an honour, isn't it, Jared? It's an honour to play, and good luck to some of these young fellas. They deserve it. They are looking the goods.
Yep, Callum Turner has fouled a couple of off. There's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 runners on. There's 2 out. We're in the top of the 3rd, and South Australia chasing 10 runs at the moment. Waiting patiently as O'Neill goes into his motion, and Turner tries to get all of it. He's not running it out. He's overrun the ball, so Turner, cardinal sin there from the young fella. As he only arrived safely to first on that error, but 2 runs across the plate. So bat on ball, getting it into play, that's all you need to do. Kapoor just overrun it just a little bit because that breeze is swirling around. That probably could have even been the shortstop's catch because it
came back,
landed at the edge of the dirt. So made up some great ground.
Yeah, look, he did well to cover it and get there, but what was disappointing is exactly what you said. It was 2 down. You might as well run as hard as you can. Get to second base and put yourself into scoring position, and you've got another batter on deck. So
if he was standing up at second, there wouldn't be a force on either. So James Melville is the pinch, well, not the pinch runner, the courtesy runner for the catcher. Catcher speed up.
Yep.
And he is doing the running for the catcher, Callum Turner. We'll go to. Where are we in the lineup? I've just lost my spot here for a second. It's the 2-hitter Connor Cameron.
Yep.
That's an obstruction because Cross is standing in front of the base, not giving a free passage for Melville to get back safely. So it didn't matter if he made the tag or not. Melville looking for the signal, and Cameron gets a great rip of this ball to the right side. Melville will turn third. The throw from right field is an absolute rip snorter of a throw.
What a throw.
How about that hose from Jordan Jeffries?
Watch the statewide super replay here. He laces it out there too, James. Winds up. 1 bounce, and look at that.
Well, that was great softball here. Connor Cameron gets a good piece of the ball to the right side. He arrived safely at first. Melville had his head down going, but he was gone as soon as he turned second.
Look, have a look at the look on his face too. He was blown away.
He was shocked.
He was very, very shocked. Great arm from right field. You know what's disappointing about that is if he would have ran out his hit, he would have been at second. He would have been safe at third. Little plays. Never give up.
1%ers, right?
1%ers, never give up. And like I said to Jared before, the ball is not dead until it's dead. So keep running and keep running, keep running.
Well, little disappointment, although for South Australia, although they put 2 runs on the board, and they're 8 down now. It's 15-7.
Bottom of the third.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't want to say it. We'll start talking run rule here. Run rule is 15 after 3, 10 after 4, 7 after 5. They might not be in danger this inning. Well, hopefully not, because then the score would have blown out to 22-7. But you never know after they put 13 on last inning. So let's hope for South Australia they can make some few quick outs. But this ball is laced. There's that man Jeffries who was in the play on that last throw from right field, and he'll stand up at second with a double. So Jim Jeffries does the job for WA.
Oh, so there's a very good discipline in this team where, look at the coach. Look at the coach. He's pointing at second base and saying, stay there. I was watching Jeffries run. He didn't take his eyes off the coach. He didn't care where he hit it. He's not looking for the glory. He's not looking for the bat toss. He went to second base because he's a team player. Good man.
This one gets away from Callum Turner, so just letting himself down a little bit here, Turner, when South Australia really need him to stand up a little bit with the not legging out that pop-up fly, and then that one didn't seem to be too hard to get, and he just sort of waved his glove at it. So he's in this game whether he likes it or not, so he's got to stand up here. Great shot here. That's cross again. He puts it to the fence. Great catch on the fence from Richardson. What a shot from Cross. He thought it was going. He's a little disappointed, but he shouldn't be, because a sacrifice fly, the run crosses the plate. Statewide Super Replay Mark, you can call it.
Yeah, well, you can see the pitch come in and he laces that out there too. A little bit of a bat toss, and very good catch here. Very, very good catch.
Tallis Richardson.
By Tallis Richardson. He followed that all the way. He was a bit hesitant last time and just muffed that last one on right field. Very, very good sacrifice fly. They're the ones that I don't mind. Ooh, he's called that foul. Now, you don't mind getting a sacrifice fly when you hit them like that, James?
Yeah, yet again, the ball to the right side. The wind is pretty, it's not as hard as what it was before, but it's still hard to hit him that side of the diamond.
And here's my man, up to bat.
Yeah, Bettles up to bat now for WA, the catcher.
I wouldn't be putting anything close. Send him up there. This may not land.
Well, Caleb Zackley has the task. Maybe throw a change-up, possibly, because he's only just trying to throw it hard so far, and that's a good pitch. Catches the outside edge, and Bettles doesn't want that one. He's obviously got a pitch that he's waiting for. Just double checking with the umpire.
Just trying to sync up, I think.
1 ball and 2 strikes. This one down and away, and again Turner just waving the glove at it. He's not really even going for it, but well, Bettle's still talking to the umpire. He's I think he's still asking about the outside edge. They're up by 9 runs in the third inning, and he's talking balls and strikes with the umpire. Oh, crushes this one. It goes high, and it's hard, and Cooper Buckskin gets under it. Bettle's legging this one out, because you never know.
Exactly. You run it out, don't you?
Well, a fly ball to centre field. Good catch from Cuba Buckskin. He's having a good tournament as well, and probably enjoying his game here. He's having a good time.
Difficult catch. Look at that Australian flag is flying around there, and that went very, very high, Jared. That was a very good catch. But what impressed me is my boy Bettles legged it out and didn't stop running until it was caught.
Always got to leg it out.
Well, 2 outs. Only the 1 run has scored so far in the inning, and And just as I mentioned at the start of this bottom half of the inning, if South Australia can get a couple of quick outs, maybe get a couple more runs on the board, you never know. I mean, like, yeah, WA have been smashing it, but perhaps there's been some more activity in the SA bullpen or not, and someone, maybe a third pitcher to come in, try and tie them up, because you never know what's going to happen. They've scored in every inning so far, South Australia.
What's your take on, as a catcher, you would have seen a lot of batters in the box in front of you. What's your take on batters having a chat to the umpire? Like, even at this age, they're having a chat, building a rapport. Is that what we try and do, building a rapport?
It's all about the rapport as a batter. Even as a batter, as a catcher, you're all trying to play your own game here.
He's having a rough night, young Davey. And
as long as you give the umpire a yes/no answer, so they don't have to speak too much, then you're fine. And usually answer with a yes answer. They like to hear that.
Yes, sir, or yes, ma'am.
That just missed the outside corner, didn't it? Yes is what you get, and then you move on.
Yeah,
shout out to all my umpires out there at Open Men's next week.
You're a man that's fond of umpires. You do a lot for the umpiring fraternity. You make it easy for them by throwing bullets that are only strikes, Jared.
Well, the umpires for this game, Jamie Harries behind the plate, Peter Samuels at first, and Lucy James at third. They're doing a terrific job so far. There's been plenty happening in this game. As this one gets away from Turner yet again, and the runner advances.
The umpiring standard looks pretty good this weekend from the games that I've watched. The umpire last night took control in the South Australian, Western Australian, when the racket was happening in the background. Big swing and a miss there. He controlled the game quite well, called well, I thought. Shout out to all the umpires that are going to call strikes on me.
I too like the umpires.
Oh, they're great people. Get around them.
No, in all seriousness, the level has been terrific this inning, and the strikeout will end it. So O'Neill goes down swinging, and a good dig for the South Australian boys. They only gave up the one run, and that's much better than the previous inning. And funnily enough, it's the lowest scoring half inning so far in the game, although WA are leading 16 runs to 7.
Definitely, I think Caleb's come in and done a great job. No warm-up, straight into it.
Yeah.
Finished the previous innings off, come into that innings there. Shut down the batters. Only scored the one, and he's up to bat here as the leadoff.
We have the man himself, Caleb Zackley, is coming up to bat as he gives us a thumbs up over here. Let's not put the mockers on him. He's batted so well tonight. I'm just whispering so he doesn't
You know
hear
what,
me.
though? So he doesn't hear. He's got a bloody good arm for a little fella, hasn't he?
Oh, mate, he's got wheels as well. He was playing centre field 2 nights ago. Took some great catches, good coverage around the diamond. He plays a bit of shortstop as well. He's a pitcher.
Look at the size of his shoes. Jeez. He's going to be a big boy.
Just very unassuming. There are always those kids that are just talented everywhere, very unassuming, just goes up, plays ball, and loves it.
He laced one out, didn't he? Didn't lace one out in the first dig or something?
Yep, got a hit earlier in the game and put one pretty hard to the shortstop as well. Arrived safely on an error from shortstop. So on base twice so far tonight. Oh, just chalks that one off the end of the barrel, and
he's got that wide stance.
Gone straight to the right pocket.
That wide stance, as James Harris has been known to do.
Don't give me credit for that.
Emulate the greats, don't you, Crampy?
I was lucky enough to play a couple of tournaments with the great Chris Kiefel, and he had a big wide stance, just emulating one of the greats. Well, ground's out this time around, exactly. So we've done it again, fellas. The commentator's curse.
Feel sorry for the young fella. He's having a good game. He's come in, like you said, Jared Cole. Yeah, big shout out to Chris Kiefel, Hall of Fame. Fantastic player. I think he beamed me a couple of times.
So he's a good guy.
He's a good guy in my books then. Might buy him a beer the next time I see him.
Didn't hurt.
Is that why you walk with a lip cramp?
I can say that now. I live in a different state.
Well, this is Jack Bestgrove. He did have a 2 RBI single in the first inning and got the ball rolling for South Australia, and then arrived on an error. Last time he came up to bat, we're waiting for him to put one into orbit, aren't we? He swings hard, this guy. Swing and a miss, and
Just a great location lifter outside. Basically unhittable, especially looking the wrong way.
It was about 3 days behind that one.
well, he's gone up the handle a little bit, but look at Bettles move way outside, and Bestgrove good enough to get his hands to it. Bettles was setting up in the right-hand batter's box then. He wanted it that far outside.
He's choked up, but again, we're talking about that swing. He's still swinging hard, but he's swinging late. So I don't know what to say.
Must be on Western Australian time there.
See, again, he's just hacking at it as it's coming out of the right-handed batter's box.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Bestgrove's fouled off the last couple, and you know what? He's not out of it yet. He's gone up the handle a little bit, so he's got a little bit more control over the bat. And Bettles goes out to the outside again. Swing and a miss.
He's going.
He'll arrive safely as the ball goes to the back net. Well, he had a pinch runner. Was it for Bestgrove last time? No, that was the courtesy runner. Be interesting to see if they do go to the bench for a pinch runner for Bestgrove. He's had a big day. He pitched against Victoria earlier on, and it's his 3rd time aboard for the game on a dropped 3rd strike. He did call for it outside. It went a bit further than he'd like, so because the catcher was setting up so far outside, I'm going to give that a wild pitch.
Yeah, definitely a wild pitch.
Wouldn't blame the catcher.
Oh, he tries to pick off.
Good arm.
Bestgrove just got back in time.
He's my man. Samuel. I like him.
Well, Adam Davey has not had a game to remember so far. A couple of strikeouts, and starting pitcher for South Australia gave up a fair amount of those runs that are on the board for WA. And you know what? I want this young fella to have some success in this, so I'm rooting for him here to get a single.
Good boy.
Well, denied by the left fielder, Trent Wood. Great play, good catch, because that was hit pretty hard. So good to see Davey getting a good piece of the ball. Hopefully that gives him a bit of confidence going into the remainder of the game.
It's a confidence builder, but it breaks you. It was a good hit.
Yeah, he doesn't have a big build, but he was able to power that ball out to the left side. Not unlike the great Kobe Church used to do. He used to get a lot of singles and turn them into doubles because he had speed, and he would hit the ball like a laser beam like that.
I don't know how he'd go on a windy night like tonight.
Probably blow over.
Probably get blown away. But can play that young fella, Kobe.
Well, that ball gets away from your man Bettles into the back net, and the wild pitch allows Bestgrove to arrive safely at 2nd. And Hayden Dabblestein up to bat now for SA. In this situation, guys, are you looking to your bench, give everyone a bit of a go now, or do you think Coach Kelvin Williams actually believes that there's a chance that SA can recapture a little bit of momentum?
It's a double-edged sword. If you take them out now, does that show that you're not believing in them? If you take them out and give someone else a go, you get their confidence up as well. I would mix it up. Why not?
Big swing and a miss, and good location from O'Neill, noting that the South Australians have been aggressive. He's just getting the ball out of the zone at the moment. Guys, this is the 4th inning, and South Australia are in there halfway through the 3rd time through their lineup, so they are getting on base. They are threatening, they are scoring runs. What they need to do is that they need to continue to do that and hold the WA offense, which is what they're going to have to do this time round. Well, as you know, for national championships, we play till we've got a result. So 7 innings if there's no run rule, and if it's tied after 7, we go into a tiebreaker. So settle in, guys. It's not over yet, but WA are 1 run away from a run rule here, 10 after 4. So I hate to say it, but we're about to go back to the top of the order for WA, and there's been no home runs so far, but I'm sure they'll all be swinging for the fences for that walk-off home run, as the boys have been dreaming of doing, no doubt, over the last few months in the lead up to this tournament.
Certainly would be playing on
Just
your mind.
as the wind picks up here.
Where would you be aiming now with this wind, Jared?
Oh,
Pop up, any pop up to the left side or travel here.
easily travel.
It's 230 feet, the fences here. If you can get a pop up that would normally land on the edge of the dirt,
The way the wind is right now, it may land on the dog fence.
it may land in the airport.
Your hair is blowing around a fair bit there, Jared. It's lovely golden strawberry locks there. And no hat tonight?
No hat tonight, Griffey. I don't need to cover up my bald spot.
It's in the front, not the back. I tell you what we're missing tonight, speaking of people picking on me, is Lee Hull. I hope Lee is doing well and at home listening.
Yeah, I've given him a shout out the last few nights, and our thoughts are with you, with the great man. He's a little unwell. Because he was so excited about this tournament, because he was able to get back behind the mic, which he loves doing, and you know that it's not great, because he wouldn't have missed this for anything, because Lee Hull comes to anything that's softball. He'd be at the opening of a birthday card if he could. And
It's true though, absolute legend of the game, and he's a great personality to have around, and we surely do miss him around here, and we hope, Lee, that you, as I save a monitor.
Great catch, Jared.
Jared
Just caught the
Farrell.
monitor, so the Spacequake Sports budget's not going to be blown out the window here as we nearly lose
Till
the
my
monitor.
check arrives.
All right, base on balls for Trent Wood. He's the 9-hitter in his third turn at bat, and that is he represents the game-ending run. So we go back to the top of the order for WA, and Hagen, Kelvin Williams is...
What are we doing here? We've got a couple of changes. Kelvin said,
He's waving his team off.
too windy?
Oh, the pitching change.
No.
Pitching change.
We're out of here, it's too windy. I saw the monitor fall over. We're out of here, boys. I do miss Lee's predictions. I wonder what Lee would say now. He'd be thinking fence, surely. A cold pitcher coming in. The wind's picked up.
Well, he's not holding back on his warm-ups. Jack Besgrove is coming in to pitch. Is Zachary going to go to first?
It's a bold strategy.
Maybe.
That's all I can say. Bold strategy.
Well, we've seen stranger things from Kelvin, and some of them have paid off and some of them haven't. So let's see if we can...
Well,
I hope this monitor's paid off.
Wind
That's
is
all I can
causing
say.
havoc here, ladies and gentlemen. If we seem a little distracted, it's because things are blowing all over the place. We're losing monitors, and paperwork's going everywhere, and the effects mic, you can hear the breeze. That's a better warm-up
I can
pitch.
hear that. Did you hear that hit the bloody
Slapped
leather
into the
there? Well
glove.
done.
Good glove adds 10 Ks.
Okay, so Trent Wood on first base for WA. You know, they won't disrespect the game. They won't go short play or stolen bases. They'll let their boys hit away. Here's Austin Hagen.
They've been batting well. You wouldn't play the short game now, surely.
Swing and a miss from Hagen. It's on the outside edge. Zachary is the ultimate utility. This is the fifth position I've seen him play. Sixth if you count maybe a DP he might have played as well. So curveball from Jack Besgrove.
And what I like about it, James, is he gives it every position he's in. He's giving it 100%. He's going back to first base after every pitch. He's looking to take the tag. Good on him. Good attitude. Well done, young fella.
Another swing and a miss. Gee, Besgrove has come in cold, and on a cold night, the temperature on the scoreboard shows 19 degrees. The breeze has got a chill factor to it as well. He's wearing a short sleeve top. Oh, as this ball goes to the right side, it'll go foul. He is humming them in.
Yeah, left-handed, lefty. He's throwing him in. I'd love to see him throw him into my boy Samuel. Well, that'll be a good combo to see, the two big boys out there. Be hard to pick a dream team out of these championships, isn't it?
Well, they're not doing the all-tournament team this year. Good shot to the right side from Hagan. Trent Wood's going to turn second to stand up safely at third base. This wind is going so heavy you can see the dust flying off the diamond. Let's watch the statewide super replay. Just gets his hands to the ball, the opposite field in the 3-4 hole, and Talis Richardson gets the ball straight back into the pitcher. No messing around. He doesn't want that run to score.
That ball was threaded right there.
So that's the game-winning run at third base. We'll shut it after 4, I think, Jim. Oh, and there it is.
Here it comes. It's going to cross the plate. The disappointing thing was the WA runner
game
stealing. That is the game scored on a wild pitch. The WA boys are happy. Shout out to my cousin Troy Purcell, who's just made a comment on Facebook. We take it seriously here,
That's
Troy.
The greyhound man. The greyhound man. Is that what he is?
Yeah, he's got the greyhound pets. He's a former South Australian representative, junior, under 16 boys, under 19 men's, and open men. So he'll go down in the South Australian record books as one of those guys that represented us at all age level. Gee, things are blowing everywhere. Guys, we might wrap this up because I'm worried that we're going to fly away here at the moment. So just a quick recap. We didn't get to Jeff Coultis. He dodged a bullet there, and and we might see if we can try and catch up with him maybe another night if he's got to be here in a couple of days' time. Yeah, we're going to nod. Got a nod from Jeff because right here on Spacequake Sports, thanks to Softball SA, we'll bring the last 8 p.m. minor round game for the girls. It'll be South Australia versus New South Wales. Then the following night, we're going to get the boys' first semi-final. So one that Jeff will be watching with interest. So WA running out victors of this game, 17 runs to 7. Any statewide super performances tonight from you, Mark?
Look, I like my boy behind the plate, Samuel.
He had a double to centre field, a triple to right field, and a fly out to centre field. And of course, behind the plate, he was a intimidating force. What about for you, Jared?
Oh, it definitely has to be Caleb Zachary. Played 3 different positions in the game, come on cold to pitch, did his job. Great with the bat as well, 2 solid hits into the field. So he definitely takes my votes tonight.
Positive attitude. Yeah, liked him. What I did like about this game was the attitude from Western Australia. They played the game out hard and they played every ball. South Australia will take a lesson out of that.
Definitely.
All right, guys. Well, that'll just about do it. I want to thank the Softball SA broadcast partners, Statewide Super, MC Sport, NK Services SA, and of course Spacequake Sports. You can join the conversation on all the social medias using the hashtag Summer of Softball, in particular the Softball Australia social medias and Softball SA. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Jared, you can go and put on a jumper, mate. You're making me cold. I'm just looking at you.
Not with these shoulders.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jared. And we'll see you all again tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.